If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and another sewing tutorial. Blah, blah, blah. Words are hard today. Today I'm so happy to sew along with you the Everyday Crossbody Companion by Kaur Threads. As you all know, I absolutely love Kaur Threads patterns, and this one is amazing. I would say this is an intermediate to advanced. I think that's what she has on there as well. But do you know what? As a beginner, if you take it slow, the only hard part really is this front pocket here. Just got to take it slow. I'm sure you can do it. Definitely give it a go. I believe this will be one that'll get easier with practice as well. I can't wait to make a next one. I do have one of these on order, so I'm super excited to jump in and make another one. Anyways, let me show you some of the amazing features of this bag. So she has these amazing, it's a webbing strap, but look at that strap connector. I love that you could use 3/4 inch hardware on that. I think that is absolutely amazing. I got to do some edge painting, which everybody knows how much I love me some good edge painting. Would you say this is a small to medium sized bag? It's compact, but really large at the same time, if that makes any sense. On the back, you have this uniquely done slip pocket. And it has a magnetic snap. I have never seen a slip pocket done like this, and it's brilliance. My large iPhone Pro Max does not fit in here with its case, but it's a big phone. I'm not going to show you my favorite part yet. I'm going to show you the inside. So in the main compartment, you have 2 slip pockets and a zipper pocket. It is a bound finish. I did do my binding a little bit different. I did a waterproof canvas binding in this, where she does a bias tape binding, but you just finish it with whatever your preference is for that. This front panel, she shows you how to do the quilting on it if you want to, but this is also amazing if you have a print or something that you want to show off here. You could also do your own design of quilting if you wanted to as well. Now, the best part. So not only is this a bag, it is a wallet as well. In this other double zip section, you have a gusseted card slots. So you have the choice that you could do 4, 6, or 8 card slots. I went all in and I did 8. Why not? You have a slip pocket here for your cash or your receipts or whatever. On the opposite side, there's another slip pocket, and I tested it out, and this one does fit my very large phone, as well as a coin purse or a coin zip pocket there as well. Amazing. I just love it. Materials in this bag. My vinyl, I just know the color was called Poseidon. It's a lot greener than it's showing on the camera. It's kind of more of a tealy green color. This is from Galaxy Customs. I do not remember what line it is. I just know the color was called Poseidon, so you can look that up. My zipper pulls are me. I ordered them from my supplier where I get my bag tags from, so I just ordered a whole bunch of them because it was a lot cheaper for me. Zippers are from Emmeline Bags. All my hardware is from Emmeline Bags. My waterproof canvas, I do not remember what it's called, but it is a new line from Emmeline Bags as well. I just love it. It is a thicker weight. I don't think I have, do I have another one here that I can tell you what it is? I don't know. Anyways, Emmeline Bags has a whole bunch of new twills and canvases and everything on the website, which works perfect for bag making linings. Yeah, interfacing this bag, I used, it calls for Decovil Light, but I used Bouncy Firm to do it. And I put a little bit of foam in this front panel, not like the thick Pretty in Pink sew foam, but you know, the foam that you get from the, when you get electronics and that kind of thing, that really thin foam. I put that underneath my Bouncy Firm just to give it a little bit more squish with the quilting. Again, that's just something I added in. What else? that is it for interfacing this. Of course, if you used a cotton lining, you would interface it with a interfacing. Wow, words are hard today. Like SF101 or EB Fuse Light. But again, I used waterproof canvas and did not need to do this. This was such a fun make. I loved it because it challenged me. I don't get challenged that often by bags. So when I find one where I am learning new techniques and I get to challenge my own abilities, I just love it. And again, it's one of those bags with these new techniques, and they're not hard to do. I think it'll just get easier as it goes. The hardest part of this bag was actually attaching this front pocket to the main, but you just take it slow. It'll be fine. Use lots of clips, use staples, hand sew it if you need to. You will get it, trust me. What else? Yeah, I'm just speechless at how amazing this bag is. Anyways, how about we get to making it, and I'll catch you guys on the opposite side.
You're going to need some rivets, some binding, some webbing, number 5 zipper tape, 6 number 5 zipper pulls, a slider, rectangle ring, 2 D-rings, 2 sewel clasps, a magnetic snap, and your nameplate. You're going to need your 4 connector pieces. I've already interfaced all my pieces. Your front and back main panels with the cutting and interfacing all done, and 3 lining panels. Your slip pockets 1 and 2 that have the trims. Your exterior and lining zipper tab pieces. Your back slip pocket, exterior and lining. Your zipper gussets, 2 exterior, 2 lining. Your base gusset, exterior and lining. Again, I've done all of my cutting and interfacing, or all my marks and interfacing. 2 D-ring connectors. A strap end. 2 coin pocket lining pieces. Your coin pocket facing. Your card slot lining panel. Your cash slip pocket, your card slot base, card slot panel A. I have cut 3 of them as I am doing the 8 card slot version. Card slot B, 2 accordion sides, your interior pocket lining, your interior pocket facing, and your 2 Decovil Light back pocket strip pieces. So first thing we're going to do is work on our D-ring connectors. I have already put my Decovil Light down the center. I'm going to take some double-sided tape, put it down the center. You can also use clips if you don't want to use double-sided tape. And what we're going to do is fold the long edges of these D-ring connectors to the center and top stitch down each of those folded sides for both. And that is what they look like. You can go ahead and put those aside for now. Now we're going to work on our strap here. So you're going to take the shorter piece of webbing, you're going to put the rectangle ring, bring it wrong sides together, and clip the 2 short raw edges together. You're going to measure up as per the pattern and draw a line. My chalk isn't quite showing up here. And then you're going to go ahead and sew around that box. I've already gone and I've just edge painted just the bottom parts of my connector there. I've drawn a line as per the pattern measurements. There's 2 lines there, and I'm going to put some double-sided tape along the kind of thicker part here. I'm going to remove the paper from the double-sided tape, take that connector piece we're working on, line it up with that line nice and centered like so, and stick it to the tape. Once you're happy with the placement, go ahead and grab some more double-sided tape. put it along the webbing like so. And then you're going to take another connector piece and you're going to put these wrong sides together, and you want to make sure you're matching up those raw edges best as possible. So the reason we already edge painted at the top is because, as you can see, the tops of these connectors, like right where they are not going to touch each other. So we will be edge painting the rest of this once we have this all in place. So go ahead and make sure it looks good. Take your time here to make sure the placement is good. You're going to make some marks right around here and here, and we are going to top stitch just from mark to mark. You're not going to worry about doing the skinny part, just go from mark to mark. Now I am going to go ahead and pull my threads long and tie them off in the back. That's what that looks like all done. So now what we want to do, make sure everything is caught on both sides. Now this is the right side, so you want to flip it so we're now looking at the wrong side. So I'm going to just put a little bit of painter's tape just so I know which one is my right side. Now you're going to flip this over so we're looking at the wrong side. I'm first going to put some double-sided tape right in here because we want to stick these layers together, but then we're going to be top stitching it from the wrong side. And the reason we do that is so our prettiest thread will be showing through when this is all done, because this part will be folded up onto the right side. So the opposite side is the right side, if that makes any sense. So stick that down nice and even. Trim up any vinyl that's not lining up so it looks really good. You want to have that perfect edge for edge painting if you're going to be doing that. So clean that up a little bit. Now she does have SVG files for this, so you could definitely have much more accurate cutting if you use the cutting machine. I just cut them by hand. Okay, once you're finished with that, you're going to flip it over to the wrong side, and then you're going to top stitch from where we started and stopped the original top stitching, pulling your threads long and pulling them through. So that's what that looks like all done. Now I'm going to just transfer my marks here for my rivets. So you're going to use the pattern template, mark where your rivets are, and punch your holes. Okay, and then you could go ahead and you can edge paint the rest of the way around. You're also going to want to do the exact same thing with the opposite end of the long strap. Now I did this a little bit premature, but the way I did it works, but I want to do all my edge painting at the same time. So once you have the edge painting done, you're going to take the shorter piece, you're going to bring the rivets, or fold the rivets around the swivel, not the rivets, fold the connector around the swivel clasp, bringing the riveted side to the right side like so, stick it through all of those holes, and then go ahead and set your rivets. You will go ahead and you will do the exact same thing with the opposite side. Again, I did this in the wrong order. I realized it later, but it'll be okay. Okay, so now I'm going to take my strap end here. I'm going to put some double-sided tape above and below. I've drawn a center line. And for the side of the long swivel, or the long strap that we haven't attached anything to, you're going to make sure it's right side up. And we are going to stick that raw edge right up at that line and fold this over wrong sides together. And that's going to enclose that raw edge of that webbing to make sure it is not going to fray. So stick it down. Now what we're going to do is I've marked a line as per the pattern. I'm going to take my swivel clasp, I'm going to put it in, make sure you have the orientation correct, and you're going to line that zip tab or the strap end tab right up with that line. Words are hard today, my goodness. And you're going to go ahead and you are going to sew 2 lines to secure that. Now again, this is what I did wrong. I shouldn't have done this end just yet, but I did, and luckily it will still fit through this rectangle ring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this end, I'm going to make sure it's wrong side up and the short one is right side up. I'm going to bring it through that rectangle ring, bring the strapping wrong sides together like so, and bring it up through the swivel, around and over the other side of the center bar of the swivel. See, it still fit. All is not lost. Just like so, and that is done. Okay, so now we're going to work on our quilting. I like to use these Galaxy Customs pencils for marking my quilting. You're going to do 2 lines as per the pattern. So where I'm putting the kind of the V of my thing here and the center line, you're going to mark up the 45-degree angle like that to do your first lines like so. And then you're going to, as per the pattern measurements, go ahead and draw the rest of the lines parallel to one another as per the pattern measurements that it tells you to do it in the pattern. Or you can go ahead and you can do your own free motion type quilting or quilting design here. Go ahead and add all of those V's all the way down, continue marking as per the pattern instructions. Now this is everything all marked up and ready to go. I have all my guidelines for quilting. Now I'm going to be starting from the center line, pulling my threads long and going up like this. And then I'm going to tie my threads off in the center line and at that end. So you're going to want to pull your threads nice and long. So I'm going to do one side first, and then you go ahead and you put your needle down where your thread had started, and you go ahead and you go up the other side and then tie your threads off. So this is what I mean by tying my threads off. I'm going to pull my bobbin thread, and that's going to bring my top thread through. That's hard to say that 10 times fast. And I'm going to tie that in 3 or 4 knots. And then I'm going to trim my thread up. My thread ends up to about 1/4 inch or so. I'm going to do the same with the other long side. I like to burn those threads a little bit. I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually these ones I'm not going to pull my threads through. I'm just going to tie them around the outside because they're going to get sewn into the seam anyways. And then you're going to go ahead, put your needle down and go up the other line and do that for all the other lines. That's what that looks like all done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wet one and just wipe away all of those chalk marks. Easier to do it now than later when the bag is finished. And then I'm going to take my fabric tack glue and I'm just going to go and put a little dab of it on all of my little knots just to make sure they will not come loose, and then I am going to let this dry. Once that is dry, I went ahead and I put in my nameplate, and I like to back that with a piece of Gorilla Tape. So now we're going to work on our accordion wings here. So I've done markings at the top as per the pattern measurements on the wrong side. I'm going to take some double-sided tape and put them on the short raw edges like so, and I'm going to fold them into that line that I just drew. Now, if you don't want to use double-sided tape, you could definitely just press them with your seam roller. Next, we're going to fold this wrong sides together upon itself like so. Give it a good press. And then we're going to go ahead and we are going to top stitch all the way around, and you're going to do that for both. So now you have you're going to fold it in half like so. And you're going to make a mark. So I believe that this is on the wrong side that we're doing these marks. So make that mark there, and we're just going to top stitch with a very scant seam allowance, which you will see in the pattern, from that line to the wider side of these. And this is what our little wings look like all done. Now I have my zipper here. I've gone and I've made marks as per the pattern measurements on the wrong side. Now we're going to take this and we're going to put this both wrong sides up like so. And you're going to line that shorter edge up with that line that we drew on each side of our zipper tape. So again, the seam that we had just sewn should be facing up, and our zipper is wrong side up as well. You're only going to be doing this on one side of the zipper tape, so make sure when you go to baste this on that you're basting them onto the same side of the zipper tape. That is what that looks like. Now we're going to take our zipper ends. We're going to put some double-sided tape upon the short ends of both the exterior and the lining pieces. What we're going to do is we have our zipper tape right side up. I'm going to take my exterior and put it right sides together with that, lining up the short end, sticking it in place. Take your lining piece, and we want this to be right side of the lining piece is along the wrong side of the zipper. So our two exterior and lining pieces are right sides together. You're going to sew across there with the seam allowance in the pattern. Then you're going to bring them wrong sides together and top stitch through the zip ends to hold them in place. So this is what that looks like done. Now we want to do the exact same thing with the opposite side. So bring the exterior right sides together with the other end of the zipper. Might help to undo the zipper a little bit here, and bring the lining piece up and around the other side, making sure your zipper is not twisted. We want a nice circle. Go ahead and stitch, and we're not going to top stitch just yet. We just stitched it in place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our loop all the way around, bring our zip ends wrong sides together, and clip in place. And then we're going to baste up one side to bring them together, top stitch that short end, and then down the other side. There we go. We got a big circle. Now we want to find our top and bottom center. So you're going to bring the zip ends, like those seams that we had just sewn together. And then you can go ahead and notch or mark the center of the zip ends. And you're also going to go ahead and you're going to mark with the pen the center of the zipper tape. Now you don't really want to notch this. You'll have to use a pen that will not erase within the seam allowance, and mark the right and wrong sides on both sides. Okay, now we're going to take our back slip pocket. I've already gone ahead and put in the male side of my snap. I made sure I marked the top, and then I've drawn the lines as per the pattern measurements. Along the top, I'm taking some double-sided tape. And along the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and on the bottom, I'm going to fold it into that bottom line that I drew like so. I'm going to use my seam roller to make sure it's stuck down really good. I'm going to do the same with the top. Give it a good press so it sticks really good. Now I've done the same thing with my exterior piece. Now along at the bottom edge of that folded edge on the exterior, I'm putting some more double-sided tape. Again, making sure you're matching up your top with your top. So we're just working with the top right now. And you are going to bring those folded edges as even as you possibly can together. Now you will notice when you go to bring the bottoms, the lining is slightly shorter, and that is exactly what we want. Okay, so we're going to just go ahead and top stitch just that top edge. Now I've also, once that's done, gone and I made my marks as per the pattern on the right side, down the sides. We're going to put some more double-sided tape there. This back pocket is amazing. You guys are going to love this so much. Okay, so now I got my back panel here. I've got my top marked. I've already done all of my markings, and I've drawn a line as per the pattern measurements right here. Again, you need to get those measurements from the pattern. Now, in between the opening and that line, you're going to put some 1/4 inch double-sided tape. Take the paper backing off. And then you're going to fold this up to that line. Stick it down really good. Again, I'm going to use my roller here just to make sure it's in place really good. Do the same with the opposite side. Okay, now I've drawn up from the bottom as per the pattern measurements, and I'm just going to slide that slip pocket in like so to those chalk lines we had just drawn, making sure that bottom line were nice and straight, and this is going to help us get the female side of our magnetic snap placement. So once that's in place, there's my male side. I'm just going to take my tandy leather pen here, and I'm just going to kind of mark the nubbin, and then I'm going to press on it, and that's going to transfer where I'm going to want to install the male side of my snap. So that is all done. Now we can go ahead, we can snap it in, make sure we line up that bottom line and take the paper off the tape this time, line it up with those lines we drew on the side of the slip pocket, and stick her down. Isn't that gorgeous? It's nice and secure. Okay, now on the wrong side, I've marked down from the top as per the pattern. I'm going to take those Decovil Light stabilizer pieces that we had. I'm going to put some double-sided tape there. And I'm going to line it up along that raw edge of those slits that we made on the inside and at that line that we drew from the top. This is just going to help stabilize that slip pocket a little bit more, especially when we go to put some rivets in there. So at the top and along that raw edge of that slit that we did. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead, we're going to top stitch from here all the way down here, across the bottom of the slip pocket, and then up the other side. Okay, once that's done, you're going to do some more marks as per the pattern. And just on the inside of the slip pocket here, we're going to go ahead and do 2 lines of top stitching, pulling our threads along. That's done, you can go ahead and install your rivets for extra security, and that's that pocket done. Okay, so now we're going to work on our card slot panels. Now I've already done all the markings as per the pattern. Make sure you know which is your top and which is your bottom. And you're going to end up folding these card slot panels over. So they will be going pretty much over top of that Decovil light that we have fused along the back. So you're going to go ahead, fold that over, give that a really good press, and do that for the other three. Next, you're going to take your card slot B piece and you're going to do the exact same thing, mark it as per the pattern. Okay, so we have all of these. You're going to go ahead and along those folded edges, top stitch them. Okay, so that's what those look like, all top stitch. Now I'm going to take my card slot base. Again, I have marked it on the right side as per the pattern. I'm going to take some of my card slot A pieces and I'm going to line it up at that line we just drew. And I'm going to put that in place like so. You're going to lift up that card slot A piece. You're going to see that line we drew on the wrong side of the top of it. I know it looks like the bottom, but it's actually the top. But you're going to flip that up and you're going to sew straight across that line. Now go ahead and test it with the card, make sure your depth is good, and it's good. Now I've marked a line down from that top folded edge as per the pattern, and I'm taking my second card slot A piece, and we're going to do the exact same thing again. So you're going to clip it in place, flip it up, and sew along that line, and do the same for the third one if you're doing the 8 card slots like I am. So again, I'm just going to double check it with the card, make sure everything is good. Now you're going to take your card slot B piece, line it up along the marked lines. Once again, the same thing, flip it up and sew along that line. There we go. So we have our 8 card slots sort of there. Now you can go ahead, flip it up, and you can trim up the excess of the back there right along like so. And then you're going to go ahead and base the card slots in place on the side. I've already gone ahead and I've marked my center line and kind of made a horizontal line here where the bottom card slots end. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start at that mark, go up one side of that line at about a 1/16 of an inch and down the other side. And that is going to separate our card slots into 8 card slots. Now you want to make sure you don't go all the way to the top. You're going to kind of go to the top of the first card slot across, and then down the other side. There we have it. We have our 8 card slots. I'm just going to double check they all fit. I want to make sure we still have room on the sides because there's going to be seam allowances to take into account there. And I've gone ahead and I've marked a line on the back as per the pattern again, and you're going to fold over that top line like so. Give that a good press. And then we're going to take our card slip pocket, and I've done a line on the right side and the wrong side as per the pattern. I'm going to fold it right sides together up to that line and give it a super good press just to make a memory. And then that bottom piece here, we're going to bring it wrong sides together and do another good press, just like so. Now we're going to fold it open like so. We're going to take that folded over edge and line it up with the top of our card slot, so both of the finished edges. Then you're going to go ahead and you are going to top stitch across there. Okay, so that's done. Now you You can fold this up along that memory crease, and you should make sure that the measurement is perfect from the top of that raw edge to that first card slot as per the pattern, and then go ahead and baste that all in place. Now we're going to take our card slot lining panel. Make sure you have the top marked and all the lines marked as per the pattern. Now we're going to go into these little V's of that first mark line like so, and just cut into them. So again, all of the markings and measurements are in the pattern, so make sure you follow along there. We're going to take some double-sided tape. We're going to put it along the raw edges, right kind of along the inside here. And then you're going to take this and you're going to fold it up to that line. Kind of similar to what we did with that back slip pocket, but you're going to do that for all 4 edges. So you're folding up to those second set of lines that we drew. You'll repeat for the rest and give it a good press. So that is what that looks like. Again, make sure you know where your top is. You can take some more double-sided tape along the top here. You'll also see on my card slot piece, I have made a bunch of marks. Those measurements are in the pattern. They're very critical for this place, for great placement of these card slots. So all the markings, again, I don't do them with you. You have to get the pattern to know what those are. I'm going to take my paper off of my double-sided tape, and then you guessed it, we're going to line up those lines from the card slots. So both of these are going to be right sides up, again making sure that lining panel, the top is at the top. You're going to stick this down to those marked lines that we did on the card slot pieces. And that is what that looks like. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to top stitch all the way around to secure that in place. If you have any overhang, go ahead and trim that off along the back just to reduce some bulk. And that is your card slots. My card fits perfectly, and you have that cash slot as well. This is just, I love this so much. Okay, so now we're going to work on our backs or our slip pocket here. I've done lines as per the pattern again. I'm going to use some double-sided tape. And this is for the slip pocket in that front pocket. I've gone ahead and taken my facing, and I've already done the markings, and I've marked my slip pocket piece here. We're going to put these right sides together, nice and centered, hold with some pins. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to sew across the top and the bottom of that line. That's what that looks like. Then you're going to go ahead and cut along that center line. This is your typical zipper pocket with facing installation. Cut into those V's to the line or to the stitching without cutting that stitching. And then you're going to bring that facing and that slip pocket wrong sides together. Now I used a very thick waterproof canvas, so this isn't as hard as I'm making it look. It's just that it's very, very, very stiff. So go ahead and press these wrong sides together. So this is that all done. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and install your coin pocket lining pieces with your zipper. I'm not going to show you that here. That's a very basic thing. If you need a class on how to do that, I do have it down below in the description. Okay, so that is what the slip pocket with the zipper coin pocket piece looks like. Now you can go ahead and fold those sides into that line. It's very nice because you don't have to worry about, it might help if I take the paper off, Brandy. Come on, there you go. This is just such a fast way to do a slip pocket without having to sew and then go back. Now you're going to bring it wrong sides together, line up that top raw edge and the folded over side edges like so. Then you're going to go ahead and you are going to baste a top along the top of that raw edge, right along there. Okay, so I've already gone ahead. I went and I put my little decorative accent on them. If you need classes on how to do that, I've also gone ahead and I've done my lining pocket for the interior and my slip pockets. Again, very basic things. They're down below in the description. Okay, now we are going to work on our zipper panels here. So we have our exterior and our lining pieces. We're going to go ahead and put some double-sided tape along one long edge of all four. I'm just going to do one side with you. Now I like to cut my zipper tape a little bit longer. That way I can pull my zipper pulls out of the way. So I just put a clip on so they don't fly off and go like that. So now I'm going to take my lining piece, which is right side up, and my zipper, which is right side up, and I'm going to stick my zipper in place. You can use clips here if you prefer, if you don't like to use double-sided tape. Take your exterior, put it right sides together with that zipper tape, making sure it's nicely lined up with the lining piece, and then go ahead and sew across that with the seam allowance in the pattern. Once that's done, what we want to do is we want to press the lining and the exterior wrong sides together. I like to use double-sided tape. It just helps me get a nice straight line away from the zipper teeth. You can just finger press this, or if you're using materials that you can iron, go ahead and take it to the iron. Same with the opposite side. And then finger press them really good wrong sides together. Then we're going to top stitch along the edge where the zipper is, that finished edge, and we're going to baste the two short raw edges and the long edge. Once you're all done that, you go ahead and you do the exact same thing with the other side of the zipper, making sure that the panels line up on both sides. So this is what that looks like all finished. Now you can pull your zipper pulls into the middle and you can trim up your zipper tape. Now my next favorite part, the hidden connectors. So I've marked on the right side of one of the connectors and on the wrong side as per the pattern. You're going to flip this connector so the wrong side is up, and you're going to line up that line with the edge of the zipper panel like so. So the zipper panel's right side up, but the connectors are wrong side up. Go ahead and baste those in place. Now we're going to take our exterior base gusset pieces. We're going to put some double-sided tape along the short ends of both of these. So both the lining and the exteriors. And we're going to be doing very similar to what we did with that other zipper panel, where we're going to be creating that loop, but we are also going to be incorporating in that hidden connector, which is great. Take the exterior, put it right sides together with the exterior of the zipper panel. Take your lining and put it right sides together with the lining side, so you are sandwiching that zipper panel in between here. You're going to go ahead and sew across there with the seam allowance that is in the pattern, bring them wrong sides together, and top stitch through the base gusset pieces. that's what that looks like all done. Now, I've done a marking here as per the pattern. You're going to go ahead and just sew across there, which I have done, and that's going to hold that that tab in place. Now you're going to fold the other raw edge of the zipper tab once you've put the D-ring on, and you're going to pull it through that hole down to that line that we drew. You're going to see it's going to give us like this little tongue type thing here. Now I'm just going to draw a line where that line's up so I know where it's going to be when I get to the machine. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and sew right along that little tab, which I have done, and that has secured this all together. You can go ahead and trim up the shorter of the sides of the D-ring thing there, so it's not going to be in the way of our rivets, and you're going to put a rivet about here and here, just through the exterior. Make sure you do not get that through the lining. Now we're going to do the same with the opposite side, but it's slightly different because now we're working in like a figure 8 type thing. So bring your exteriors together, your linings together, and you're just going to sew across there for now. Now to top stitch, you're just going to kind of have to bring the wrong sides together just in that area so you can top stitch across. Just make sure you're only stitching what you need to be stitching. Okay, so we want to do the same thing with the other D-ring connector. Make sure your lining is up and out of the way, and you're going to go ahead and install it in the exact same fashion. So that is done. Now you can bring the lining and the exterior wrong sides together, and you are going to go ahead and you are going to baste the two long sides to make it all one continuous piece. So that is that all done. Now we need to find our centers, all 4 quarter sections. So bring your seams together and bring it all the way to the top of the zipper and all the way down to the bottom so you can find where the center is and notch it or mark it. I love this little notching tool I got on Amazon. So that is my top zipper. You want to do both sides, remember. And then the bottom. And then you're going to want to find the quarter sections as well. And this is just going to help later on when we go to put this all together. So now you're going to bring the top and bottom centers together and kind of squeeze it all the way to the side to find those side centers. And you will do that for both sides. So there will be 4 notches on each side of this zipper panel piece. Okay, so now we're back to that front pocket. So you want to undo the zipper. You want to make sure, or actually we want to find our quarter sections for this as well. So I'm matching up my top and bottom centers and then marking it on my zipper tape within the seam allowance because I'm using a pen that will not wash away off of the zipper tape. And I'm marking both sides, and that'll give you your quarter sections. Okay. Just making it so I can see my lines better. Okay, so undo the zipper, and we are working with the side that has the little accordion wings on it, okay? So we want to bring this right sides together, the zipper tape and our front pocket piece, match up that quarter section side there, like so. And then match the top and bottom centers. It always helps to work in quarter sections because then you can evenly distribute the fabric in between. Now, this is a little more tricky to evenly distribute that fabric because we do have the zipper tape, and you have to be very careful when you're cutting into the zipper tape. So the way I like to do this is I like to go ahead and just clip the straight edges first and go and sew those, leaving the corners, which we will do after we have the straight edges in place. Once again, make sure you have checked what the seam allowance is in the pattern. So once that's done, now we could just go ahead and we can just work with these corners. So you're going to kind of go around like this. Some people like to staple them. You could have gone in and hand sewn them. My carpal tunnel is not my friend lately, so hand sewing was not an option for me. So I've opted just to use a lot of clips on these corners. I did try the stapler, as you can see it there, but I just can't get the hang of staples, but I know it works for some people. So go ahead and just take those corners and clip or staple or hand sew or whatever you want, and you'll see it'll be a lot easier to get them to go around that curve with those straight edges sewn. This is just how I like to do it myself. Once you have those clipped, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to sew those in place with the seam allowance in the pattern from where our starting and stopping stitches started for the sides. This is where you have to be super careful. Now you can see how my zipper is kind of folding up. So within that seam allowance I just did, I'm doing like a 1/16 of an inch snips. And that is going to make my zipper go flat. And then I'm taking a ton of fray check and putting it along there just to ensure that my zipper is not going to fray. Okay, next what we're going to do is on my lining panel with the slip pocket, I've drawn a line and you're just going to make a memory crease like so. Right along that line in the pattern. I've also drawn lines on the top and the bottom of this pocket as per the pattern. We're going to put these right sides together and we're going to make like a little burrito here. So you're going to match up with the top and bottom centers and the side centers. You're going to stuff that zipper and everything inside, almost like a little pita pocket. Now in the pattern, she says to sew not the top straight edges, but everything else. I just left the bottom open and I sewed the top when I did everything else. So you can do whatever you like there. Again, make sure you check that seam allowance in the pattern. Make sure your zipper is tucked in there so you don't have your teeth sneaking into that seam because it's a little bit of a sneaky zipper here with this curve. It's a straight zipper that does not necessarily want to go around those corners. And that's why I am using a ton of Wonder Clips. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to start at that mark that we made along the bottom. We're going to sew all the way around here and stop at the other side and backstitch and leave this bottom open for turning. Okay, so that's what that looks like done. I'm going to, right at that opening, just below that line or along the raw edge there, I'm just going to put some double-sided tape there right now. And you will see what this is for momentarily. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and you can turn this right side out. This actually turned a lot easier than I thought it would, so I was pleasantly surprised. You want to make sure you press out all of those rounded corners nice and neat so you have a perfect shape to this bag. Double check that none of your zipper teeth got caught in the seam, and I am good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to zip this up. We're going to kind of press it down like this, kind of pop it out like so. And then we're going to work on this lining piece. So you're going to take off the paper from that double-sided tape and you're going to fold this under. Remember that memory crease that we did of that piece? Fold it under, stick it to the tape. You're going to take some more tape and put it along the wrong side of that fold. And if you don't like tape, you can always use fabric glue here and then let it dry. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stick that folded edge down just so it's hiding the stitching that we just did, like so. Make sure it all looks good. And then to secure that in place, we're going to do top stitching all the way around, and that is going to close up that gap. So it's kind of hanging over where that seam is, which is what we want. You're going to want to undo your zipper to make this easier. Make sure everything looks good. And then we're going to go ahead and top stitch all the way around there, and that is going to close up this bottom. Okay, so that is all done. You want to make sure that that bottom closed up, and mine did. Now we're going to work with the other side of the zipper. So what we want to do is those marks that we had made on the zipper are still there, and we want to bring the accordion, the other edge of the accordion right up to the wrong side of the zipper like so, and you're going to clip that in place. And you're going to do the same for the opposite side. Match it up with that line. So it's along the wrong side of the zipper. And then you're going to go ahead and baste that in place. So that is what that looks like. I'm just going to double check that my zipper still closes because I'm paranoid about that. And she closes beautifully. That's what that front pocket looks like so far. Okay, so now we're going to take that card slot panel and the interior slip pocket panels. We're going to bring those wrong sides together, matching up our quarter sections, and we are going to go ahead and we are going to baste these together, wrong sides together, all the way around. That is done. We're going to have the card slots right side up. We're going to undo our zipper here, and we're going to tape our front pocket panel also right side up. So the zipper is right side up and the card slots are right side up. We're going to match up that top center. And all of the quarter sections, the side centers and the bottom centers, and we're going to do exactly like what we did with that front pocket, except for we're going to be basting it here. So you'll come back in. Again, you can go all the way around if you want to use staples or whatever, but I find it easiest for myself to do the 4 straight edges and then to come back in and do those corners. Again, using the seam allowance stated in the pattern when you go to baste these together. So I cannot give you guys the seam allowances or measurements, so definitely make sure you're looking for those as you're reading along. You'll do those sides and then you'll do the corners. So that is what that looks like all done. She looks amazing. Set that aside for now. Okay, so now we're going to take our back pocket, our lining back pocket, as well as our exterior back pocket, put them wrong sides together, put them in place like so. We're getting closer to being done, you guys. Okay, so what we want to do is, this is the hardest part, all right? So we want these to be right sides together, so we have our main gusset piece, and we're putting it right sides together with that unsewn side of the zipper. So you want to make sure that pocket is out of the way. We're using that side of the zipper that we just basted the card slots on. Match up that top center. I promise you, this is the hardest part. The bottom centers, again, all along that unsewn side of the zipper. And this is a smallish bag. So this, I used a really thick vinyl, so it is making it look like it's a little bit harder. I used really thick vinyl and really thick waterproof canvas. So they aren't that malleable. So I'm kind of massaging them a little bit. So depending on what materials you use, you'll probably have an easier time than I am. I'm going to use 1,000,001 clips once again. Match up the center. These quarter marks are a saving grace for distributing that fabric around those curves. And that opposite side. Now, one thing I did do with this is I did make sure I have my zipper foot on, because it comes the seam comes very, very close to the rivets of that slip pocket on the inside. So you will want to use either a small foot or a zipper foot so you can get nice and close to that. Keep clipping. Now for these corners, if it doesn't look like the gusset wants to go around, you can go ahead and put little 1/8 of an inch snips in there. And then that'll help distribute that gusset fabric around that curve. That is what I really wanted to do with the zipper, but you have to be so careful with zippers. And then go ahead and sew all the way around that with the seam allowance stated in the pattern. That's done. Hardest part is done, you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it out just to make sure that my zipper behaved itself. I want to make sure I didn't catch the teeth. I want to make sure it looks good all the way around. Make sure my zipper still works, just in case I have to go in and fix anything. But do you know what? She looks good. I'm super happy with that. I'm just going to double check everywhere. Again, this is the hardest part. Once you get past this and the binding of this part, you are golden. All right, so now you're going to flip it back out. And yes, what we're going to do now is you are going to go ahead and bind that side with your preferred method. I'm not going to show you how to do that. And then you're going to go ahead and do it with the other side. So I use waterproof canvas here. I have classes on how to do all sorts of binding down in the description. So once you have it all bound up, you can go ahead and you can turn this around. Again, I used a thick waterproof canvas and a thicker vinyl. So turning with my carpal tunnel makes it look a lot harder than it is, but it's just from what I chose to use for my fabrics. So just massage it through, work it through. It will turn through, I promise you. Poke out all of those corners. Make sure your seams are nice and tight. Do you know what? That's it. This bag is completely done. All you have left to do now is to attach that amazing crossbody strap, which we have already done. Give it a little bit of a massage so all of the seams stay where they're going to be. Attach your strap, pat yourself on the back, admire your work. It's amazing. And we're done.
All right, what'd you guys think of that? It's a little bit of a longer tutorial, but I didn't want to leave too much out. There's just so many awesome new techniques to learn in this, and truly, truly loved making it. Anyways, if at any time you found this tutorial useful, please do give me a thumbs up. Shoot me a comment down below and let me know what your favorite part of this bag is. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you're interested in the membership side where we have a live sew-along classes, that's linked down below how to join that. Take a peek. Maybe there's something there that interests you. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can always donate to the coffee account. Again, linked down below. And until the next one, I'll catch you guys again. Bye.